Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about dialogue and let's start with the definition.
Maxim, to be honest, I was learning about dialogue when I was going to have a new specialty, business law. It was a rhetoric lesson, and suddenly our lecturer told something strange. Dialogue, on his words, this is speech when one or two person speak with another. I raise a hand and ask, is it okay that we use word dialogue? It means two for three people talking, and he was saying yes, it's quite usual. You could speak with one person or you could speak with two people, so it's quite okay. So this is dialogue, dialogue in English. And in dialogue we have several very strict rules. First, you should have a purpose for dialogue, so you have something to achieve during this speech. Second, you should understand how to enter, how to step in dialogue, and how to go out, so-called intro and outro. And last, you should have facts which you will use to support your point of view.
And when we talk about the purpose as well, probably it should not really coming up right during the dialogue. It should be some sort of like a preparation, unless it's the conversation like a near water cooler or whatever. But even to say that some of the accident conversations might not be so accident anyway, so it should be some sort of preparation. So how should the process of preparing to the dialogue look like?
When I was a young person and I was just a student, and then I was just specialist working in McKinsey, I was always wondering why all my bosses know how to start, how to finish, and how to conduct all their speeches. And it was quite unusual. But when I was start to work as a chief of security of Alpha Bank in Ukraine, suddenly I realized I have too many clients to speak, too many phone calls which was incoming. So I have no time to, I don't know how to say, раскачиваться.
Just, like a warm up.
Yes, correct. Yes, I have no time to warm up. So I should be all time hot as water in a teapot or teapot. So I was starting to think how to dive into mental dialogue in a very fast way. So if I will see the client, if I will see the employee, if I will see someone from the state, how should I start to talk? First, it is how to present yourself. I am Maxim Golub from Dubai. I am responsible for product management in such a company. Or something like this. Second, what I want to achieve. If you pleased, I want to discuss with you this topic. I could be paying you, or we could make it as a barter, or you could make me a favor, and then I will make you a favor, and so on. And then you should have a great way to расстаться.
Split up.
To split up, because if you will finish your speech with the wrong way, some people would feel themselves as used and very disappointed. So sometimes it was a movie in post-Soviet Union territories. It was 17 moments of spring, and the main hero, his name was Stirlitz. He has rules that everything you speak last remembers better.
Okay, it's a famous dialogue between him and Rolf when he was asking for the pills for the sleepless night. Well, he was asked about some major stuff. But when it comes to dialogue, like interaction process, how if it probably is like a sync process, like one speaks, another person listens to. But how should this like transition happen between two people, or maybe sometimes it could be some sort of like a parallel discussion?
I will tell you a very funny story. This was in science fiction's novel I was reading while I was in a school. Once starship was going in far space, and suddenly scientists from the Earth and also the crew from the starships realized that they could not talk because just in one way to transmit information, it was like 6 hours, but they have like 20 hours to disaster. And all the crew and also scientific team were thinking how to create a new way of communication. And suddenly, I could remember maybe some woman from Starship give a proposal. Let's talk as a woman continuously. We will start to talk and you will start to talk. And we will not make it like nobody listen, nobody. But in this way, we could transmit a large amount of information. But in real life, for sure, it wouldn't work. And you know, if you're a polite person, if you are a gentle person, you will use like 80% of dialogue to listen somebody's thoughts, to understand facts, to understand scheme of thinking. And maybe it would looks like you lose the time. I don't know how to say it in English, but in football or soccer, there is special counters which count how many time a ball was close to players of one team. A lot of people, they are trying in dialogue to speak as much as possible. They think, if I will take my time, I will win. But this is not about winning the time. It is about how to win the heart. So how to convince. Sometimes it could happen just with several words. But if you will talk without any stop, you could be навязчивый.
Probably annoying.
You would be just annoying, and after your dialogue you would think like a champion, I spent too many time just talking, but another person will think, I never will repeat this dialogue again.
And it's funny enough, recently I was reading the book from, I think, Mr. Donovan, who was like the, before CIA was formed. So they were issuing a couple of books for like a special agents or like a sabotage forces. So this book called like a sample sabotage field guide. So one of the section actually was, like how to sabotage during at the work places. So basically the line was, like hold endless meetings, try to go back to the previous items, try to reopen it. And especially when there is like a time of crisis, create committee and always like postpone it for the next meeting. So this is how you can like sabotage things. And when it comes like to the dialogue, speaking to a different type of the people, obviously there might be like a third party or like like there might be a desire to quickly move to the next item. So it may turn into the game where you just have to wait to quickly add your like some of your words. So how to avoid that and like give your space and ability to like step in and maybe like take your turn.
When after Germany I was working in Japan, it was a lot of lessons I learned in this country, and one of them was if you have your food, put each piece in your mouth until you feel the flavor. If you stop, feel the flavor and happiness, stop this eating. It was very unusual for me. I am from a very poor family, and we always were eating in a very fast way because we were waiting for food for a long time. But in Japan, I start to eat in a slow way, and I like it a lot. The same with dialogue. Do not think about dialogue like your chance to talk to anyone. Think about this like portion of meat or bread or rice balls. So first you should decide something about one topic, and then you could switch to another. So do not think that you have agreement until it is confirmed. So, for example, we are talking with Maxim about one topic, and every one of us, maybe Maxim, maybe I, could tell, okay, are we agreed about this? And if yes, you could step out. There is no need to finish all the topics we have between us in a one single dialogue. Better to make 2 or 3 so-called balls or shoots to be sure that everything will work out. Because if we will just try to run faster, we will have more unsolved features and broken promises.
And maybe it also comes to, like some sort of like a protocol of communicating, because sometimes you could be using like a poses, or maybe I noticed that, for example, with Indian people, they actually would say yes, but like in their way, they do like something, so it's like just confirming. But I do believe there also should be a room for another person to, like to tell them, okay, I finished my block of thoughts. What do you think? So how to go about, like when you're getting like a endless information of blocks, how to step in, or maybe how to agree on certain level of moderation, or maybe a gentle interruption of thoughts.
Yesterday, with my wife, we were on one meeting with 3 lawyers, and they have not too much time, and their time was quite expensive, even for me. And I was talking to my wife, and I was saying, please do not start talk about anything. I will manage the meeting. And we were talking in very fast mode, and suddenly, after was looking like we have an agreement, suddenly I told those guys, come on guys, I am not alone, I'm also with my wife, maybe she has questions. And I give word to her, and she has a chance to talk, to ask the questions. And after we finished, we just look on our wristwatch, and everyone was thinking it was impossible. We agreed to talk 30 minutes. We spent exactly 29.
And actually, this brings us to my last question, like how to do the nice outro of the process of the dialogue.
When I was analytic and I was working and researching people, I should write a lot of paragraphs, how to meet, how to talk, how to convince, and also how to break up, how to split, how to quit from dialogue. And this is the very important part. And the easiest way is to give a promise. For example, I will talk to you, for example, for 1 hour, and suddenly we should finish our dialogue. The best way to say, Maxim, I remember I will send you a book, or I will send you something. And if you will keep this promise, this is the best finish of your dialogue out of the borders of dialogue.
And my last question will be how knowing about dialect could help to make this world a better place.
Maxim, let's stick also to our previous part, the section of our movie about lawyers. This was a picture I was seeing in one office of law firm several years ago. It was two person fight about cow. Everyone was saying, this is my cow. And close to them, it was a cow which was still chewing the grass, and it was a smart lawyer who was trying to steal the milk in his own can. And I was thinking, wow, people do not know how to conduct dialogue, and some people make money from it. So if you will live in USA, maybe you will say the same, maybe you will support my opinion. A lot of people think that lawyers are do not worth the money they ask. But if people do not want or could not speak, they always call lawyers.
Развивайте навык общаться, а мы рассмотрели навык диалог и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира.